Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web. Today, I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Thursday night Smackdown review. And I gotta say, this Smackdown wasn't bad. You know, a fun episode. I liked certain storylines that were progressed. One performer in particular got quite a bit of screen time tonight, all things considered. There were some fun matches sprinkled in, particularly the main event. And yeah, we just keep chugging along to WrestleMania, which still looks pretty bleak from where I'm sitting, but, you know, that's really nothing new. But yeah, as far as the SmackDown goes, I'll give it the green light. I enjoyed this. What'd you think of it, Ashton?
Yeah, this is a fun show. We got, surprisingly enough, given that it's a SmackDown, we got storyline progression on quite a few different angles tonight, and I thought that was really cool. And I mean, honestly, we got, I think, at least two matches that I would call, you know, Raw worthy, at least, if not pay-per-view worthy. I
would certainly agree with you. So, with that said, let's keep the ball rolling with our first segment, Heat of the Night. You know, it's funny, I don't really have any heats of the night or nitpicks, but it's kind of like what you said to me in conversation. You know, just some observations, just maybe some things that I would like to kind of flesh out when we get to certain segments. So really no criticisms yet. Maybe they'll arise as we have a nice discourse. But yeah, just a few things on my mind. What about you?
Well, I'm curious what the few things on your mind are, or are you going to save them for when we get?
Well, we're gonna get there when we get to the segments, because I can tell you right out of the gate, we'll probably have a good discussion about what's coming. So, what about you though? Any heats?
Can I just ask? Is one of the discussions that you want us to have regarding Golden Truth?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
I'm kind of over that. Like, I know that they progressed a little bit, I guess, tonight. So, you know, we will address that. But yeah, not one of my big talking points.
Okay, I think we're good then, because I don't really have any other big problems with the show.
All right then. With that said, let us get right into our Thursday night SmackDown review, and we open things up first with a recap of the big brawl between Roman Reigns and Triple H on Monday, but then when we actually get to the show, Roman Reigns opens up, severely edited because we actually saw the live footage of this promo was received. Booze as far as the eyes can see and the ears can hear. But Reigns
It's like
comes
that
up.
one scene from Toy Story, but he's saying booze. Booze
exactly.
everywhere.
I gotta say, Ashton, here's the thing, right? I liked Reigns' promo, but it sounded so heelish to me at times. Like, maybe that's why I like it.
Okay, I'm so glad that you said it and I didn't have to, because this was not even a heelish promo. It was just a straight up heel promo. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, that's what this was. Even if it wasn't intended to be, this was a heel promo.
Dude, he pretty much came out and said, you talk about how you're powerful and this and that's all right. I'm just going to keep eating on your dime, and then when you and I are in the same place, I'm going to kick your ass again. So, it's cool that you're powerful. I'm going to keep enjoying the perks of working for you, and then I'm just going to beat the shit out of you whenever I want.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what I extrapolated from the
That's
promo.
like the polar opposite of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, Stone Cold Steve Austin would have rather been fired than have to work for Vince McMahon.
Exactly, and Roman Reigns pretty much tells me in this promo, and again, it's not me criticizing Reigns, because if he was a heel, this would have been perfect, but he's a babyface, which is where there's this disconnect. He's pretty much like, yeah, I'm gonna coast along thanks to you, and then whenever I feel like it, whenever we're in, you know, proximity, I'm just gonna beat the crap out of you, and you're gonna deal with it. And, you know, he says, I'm gonna humiliate you at WrestleMania, and if you're as smart as you think you are, Triple H, you'd believe that.
And I'll also add, it feels to me like Reigns maybe has a little bit of a new catchphrase going on, too. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't. What did you pick up there?
Because I can.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was saying, like, I kept waiting for him to bring back that whole Brock Lesnar verbiage, like, oh, because I can and I will. But it was just, because I can. That's it. And you know what? I'm so glad you brought that up, dude, because that's another reason why it felt like it had this heel vibe because he's saying, because I can, I being like this imposing, intimidating guy, and I'm just going to impose my will upon you, upon any situation I don't like, and I'm going to bend it to my advantage. Dude, I don't understand.
I think that's the most heelish thing that he was doing, though, because, like, to me, that's like he became, in those few moments, the living embodiment of a shitty parent.
Yeah.
Like, when a kid is just like, why, mommy, why? And the mom's just like, oh, because I can, or because I said so, or anything like that. That's what Roman Reigns was tonight. He was a shitty parent.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I can't believe I'm using this phrase here given who Reigns' opposition is, but when parents do that, it's like appealing to authority. Because I'm the authority figure, that's why I'm endowed with the right to be able to do what I do. Yeah. And with Roman Reigns, it's because I'm endowed with this long hair and this Samoan DNA and these muscles. Like, yeah, I'm better than you. I'm superior. That's what he was saying here. Yep. When he says, because I can, it's implying that because I know I'm superior to you, what kind of fight are you going to offer? And Ashton, on top of that, because I feel like this is the best space to discuss this, did you see his fan response to Twitter criticism? Have you seen that?
No.
Dude, I'm looking at it right now. I'm so glad you said no, because here's what the fan said, okay? He said, do you hear how everyone boos you? If you win the WWE Championship, I'll break all my fingers. You're a terrible wrestler at WWE Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns responds, now, I smiled. I liked it. I want to support this guy, but he should be heel. He says, with the whole breaking your fingers thing, looks like your sex life is going to struggle. #fool. So, how is this guy in any way?
No, like, you know what though? I don't want us to have any double standards. I think we need to keep the Twitter sphere to outside of kayfabe.
And that's true. I'll give you that. But even so, you know, just the way this guy carries himself, and he said before, and you know, keep it outside of the kayfabe, but, you know, in interviews and stuff, he's like, oh, I'm just making money, anybody can do what they want, like, and I agree with him, you know, I like that stuff, but it's just like, that's why you should be heel, though, because I want more of that real stuff infused into your character, because I like his approach, I like what the guy's about, it's just the babyface alignment feels so inauthentic, it's ridiculous, like, I cannot connect with it, dude. And this promo again was like, if he was talking, and I hate to invoke this guy, you know, because I know he's retired, but if this is like a promo against a Daniel Bryan, like what a heel Roman Reigns would be, because he'd be like, oh, you know, this guy's so small and because I can and all this stuff, or a Dolph Ziggler if you want to be more contemporary, more recent. Like, this was not a promo to me that a babyface would cut. Save for maybe like when you're a real badass, like say a Batista in 2005, but he actually had a connection with the crowd. You know, he was super over then. Reigns,
and even then, like, this felt more like 2013 or 2014 or whenever it was that he had his return Batista than 2005 Batista. Like, this felt like a heel Batista promo.
Yeah. I mean, it just heel vibes all the way through.
That's the crazy thing, dude. I'm telling you, like, I've been saying it for probably 2 years now, if not longer. WWE wants Reigns to be Cena, but he's only got the skill set to be Batista. I've been saying that for how long now?
Yeah, and you see it again here, and it's so funny because when it comes to Triple H cutting promos, my criticism's always been, oh, it's such a great heel promo, but it's on the wrong babyface. And now Roman Reigns cuts a promo that I actually like, but the context is all messed up because you're the babyface here. So, like, the problem again comes back to, oh, the alignment because you're a horrible babyface. All this good content for just a horrible babyface, it's a dull lightning rod. It's not gonna do anything. Oh, and I like, too, that he kept it short. That was another compliment I'd want to give it. Reigns should not be giving soliloquies in the ring. That one, to me, was the perfect length, that promo. He said what he had to say. He had that air about him, and he left. But it just, oh my God.
Dude, everything you're saying right now applies to Batista.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because you never heard Batista having long monologues in the ring. He
was always known for his sound bites. I thought you were my friend!
Basketballs don't hold grudges. You know, things like that. You know,
I understand. And I quit.
That was my favorite one, personally. And then that one and weapons are not only legal, they're allowed. But, yeah, you know, like, gaps aside, I liked Batista as a heel.
Though. That's the thing. Like, he was at his absolute best when he was how do I phrase this? When he was a babyface, his best run was fresh off the heels of literally one of the best monster babyface builds the WWE has ever pulled off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and they didn't do that for Reigns. They didn't get anywhere close to that for Reigns.
No, look, I mean, and everybody's taken note. I mean, regardless of where people envision the guy, it doesn't change the fact that, to me, Dean Ambrose has had a more authentic, more organic babyface rise as that guy than Roman Reigns has. I mean, Roman Reigns, to me, as a babyface, and I've said this before, and I'm not going to stop saying it until this ends, so I guess I'll be saying it for the next decade at least, the way it's looking. It just reeks of being manufactured. And it's a shame because, dude, and you and I have been saying it for so long, so again, I know I'm not saying anything new. There is such a brilliant heel here. That's the thing with Roman Reigns that frustrates me. It's not that this guy is talentless or has nothing to give. Quite the contrary. I think he has so much to give. They're just giving it in the wrong direction. You're expending energy trying to push a brick wall. It's pointless. You could get so much more out of Roman Reigns if he was a heel and build up another baby face. You know, again, a Dean Ambrose comes to mind. AJ Styles, for God's sakes, if you really wanted to establish him. You know, so many guys you could do. A baby face Brock Lesnar. Yes, Sami Zayn.
Seth Rollins when he comes back.
Seth Rollins. Oh, my God. Again, even though I already saw this match once, I'm not crazy about seeing it again. If you want to do a babyface Brock Lesnar, you're telling me that with the mouth that Reigns has, when he's talking about how much better he is than everybody else, Roman Reigns, Tom, you know, the people wouldn't want to see him get the shit kicked out of him by a guy like Brock Lesnar. Like, I'm telling you people, and Ashton has told you people, and by people I mean WWE creative and the infrastructure, and mainly Vince and Kevin Dunn, you fucking people, ruin my life. You've got a brilliant heel here. And you're just not using it because you want him to be beloved by people that really just do not give a shit. Just really disappointing. I'm struggling even with this promo because I loved it, but I hated it all for the right reasons. I loved it because of the content and the delivery, and Reigns did well. I hated it, though, because of the climate that this promo has found itself in. You know, in this particular context of him being the babyface, trying to upend authority, it's horrible. It's a horrible promo. But me, personally, I loved it. So screw my mixed feelings, man, and screw all of this. But yeah,
this is kind of another one of those situations where this was a really good promo in a vacuum.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Within the context, it's god awful because they're trying so hard to get him over as a face.
Dude, it's sad, man, because I want to embrace this. It's just they're just not doing it right. I can't really think of anything better to say than they're just not doing it right. So yeah, that was the promo. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I honestly, I'm conflicted because I feel like I could say, oh, I feel so bad for Joe, which is the guy's name playing Roman, and I almost want to, but then on the same note, like, how much is this dude getting paid to cut horrible promos and like literally just making millions of dollars just to look a certain way and just have Vince confused out his ass? It's
like, yeah, you and I, we want to be sympathetic, and then we open the wallets and a fly comes out. We're like, nah, he's good. You're good. But yeah, man.
Well, it's also like, well, I guess fuck the meritocracy, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Well, I guess with that said, do you want to move on?
Let's move on.
All right, well, we got to recap slightly with Chris Jericho, and then after that, we got Renee backstage, AJ Styles. And this actually, you know what? It's funny because SmackDown, again, it's so manufactured and chopped and edited to fit a certain narrative.
You know, it's funny you say that, though, because the promos feel more improvised.
That is true. Yeah, I would give you that. But I think the reception to said promos is definitely more processed. Yeah. But see, that's what's funny, right? Because in this promo, AJ Styles says the WWE Universe can chant whatever they want. Apparently not. That's kind of a lie, AJ. But you mean
well. So meta.
I know, right? I just now realized that while we're going over this show together. That is crazy.
I'm so meta, even this acronym.
Wow. Well, okay, so AJ pretty much says, all right, Jericho was jealous, whatever. It's not really my problem, and, he did what he did to me, but I'm going to get my... And, as he's talking, Kevin Owens interrupts. And this man, people... there are not enough words to describe how much I love this man. Just amazing to me, because he comes on and he's like, you know who you remind me of, AJ? You remind me of Sami Zayn. You're all crying and whining about friendship and what people did to you, when, a friendship, it doesn't matter. All that matters is this. In fact, I'm thinking you two, and this is my favorite freaking line, you two should have a show on the WWE Network where you just hold each other and cry. And I'll be the first one to step up and say I'd probably watch at least the first 5 minutes of that show. I mean, if there's conversation, they might be able to keep me for the first 20 or for the full 20. But if it's just holding each other and crying, yeah, I'll probably check out after the first 5. But yeah, Kevin Owens just letting AJ Styles know what he thinks, and then AJ
I don't know.
retorts,
Do any other wrestlers kind of get in on this, or is it just AJ and Sammy? Because
I mean, maybe other wrestlers get in on it.
Can we just have a show on the WWE Network that's like a losing wrestler support group?
Dude, that would be amazing.
Like, after Raw, we just see everyone that lost their matches on Raw get together and tell each other that it's going to be okay.
Dude, you are selling me right now. And then the series finale, they break the fourth wall and they're like, you know what I really want to cry and hug it out about? The idea that we only get 15% we're on the road 300 days a year, and then they burn it to the ground. Yeah.
I was actually thinking on the last episode they could just be like, you know what I really want to cry about? All this money I'm making. Losing all these matches.
And then they all look at the camera and they tell the audience, fuck you! And then it just goes to credits. Oh my god. So yeah,
it's just Dolph Ziggler in a room that has no lights on but a spotlight, and it's just shining on his face. And he does this really overly dramatic monologue about what it's like to be a wrestler and all of the pain and sorrow you go through. And then his closing line is, but then there's the money. And then he winks at the camera, and the camera cuts to black. End of season.
Oh my god, somebody get to the WWE Network. Let's make a fortune. Oh my god. So yeah, then AJ says, Kevin, you remind me of Chris Jericho. You're arrogant, you're a jackass, all this stuff. And then Kevin Owens replied, I'm surprised you didn't say Canadian. That's the first thing that came to my mind. What's your point? And then AJ says, well, we got a match tonight. And, in that match, more or less, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to get the win. I'm going to shut you up. You run your mouth, and I get the privilege of shutting it. And then that's it. So, good stuff here. Good fire from AJ. Kevin Owens consistently proves himself to be on point.
Yeah, that's the thing, too, is like, there were 2 highlight moments in this whole interview segment, and both of them belong to Kevin Owens.
Exactly.
Like that first one with the new show on the network, and then the second one was the whole, we're also both Canadian. I thought, that's what I would have gone for if I were you. But, like,
yeah.
he's literally showing AJ Styles how to trash talk.
You know what, dude? I've really, it's funny that you and I reviewing this show and going over it again has really illuminated to me. It's like Kevin Owens to me is inverse Reigns, because he's got the alignment right, but WWE really hasn't pulled the trigger to go all the way with him as a heel. Where Roman Reigns have got the alignment horrendous, but they want to push this guy to the stars. So regardless of what happens, I still don't have my top quality heel. God damn it! I'm just I want that villain to just revel in and embrace, and I do have it with Kevin. But oh man, I see him do things like this and interact with guys like AJ Styles, and I just want more. It's never enough. For me, this guy's so good.
More!
Exactly, until I'm stark raving mad, which, to be fair, we're probably already there. But regardless, do you have anything else you want to say about this backstage segment?
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it as well. Up next, we get our first match of the night. We get Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. I actually like this match. I like that Dolph, for a lot of it, really relied on his amateur wrestling experience. You saw him get Miz in takedowns, and he was shooting the half and trying to get pin attempts, and then it just became more of a standard WWE match. A good back and forth between these two guys, but in the end, Miz got caught. He pushed the referee out of the way, or he was admonished by the referee, and was like, I got it, but he took his eye off Dolph for 1 second, ate a super kick. Dolph collapsed on him, got the 3 count. So yeah, despite the loss on Monday that really had no consequences one way or the other for Dolph, WrestleMania, or just, his career, gets a win tonight, so he bounces back here after the super kick.
Yeah. Also, I just want to give Miz a little bit of credit here. He actually locked in a proper figure 4 and not a figure P.
Yeah, I was wondering during this match, I'm like, Was it the right figure four? And I almost wanted to ask you, but I'm like, no, I just don't probably remark on it for TWitWoW, and you came through in the clutch. So there you go. Miz put in a proper figure four. Everybody had a good night tonight, especially Dolph, though, because he did get the win in spite of that figure four, which I also have to give credit to Dolph, since we're giving credit for the more, subtle things. He even sold it, after he won the match. You could tell he had a little limp in his step. And so, yeah, he was really selling the effects of the figure four for the remainder of the bout. Hell, even after the figure four, he collapsed on Miz. That's how the pin was initiated.
He sure is a talented son of a gun, isn't he?
Indeed he is, sir. Indeed he is. So, anything else you want to say about this match?
I don't think so. Let's move on.
All right, we get a recap of Ryback challenging Kalisto, and then we go to a brief sit-down interview that Michael Cole had with Kalisto, and more or less he said, hey, Ryback laid down the challenge. Do you accept? Kalisto, being the babyface that he is, says it would be an honor to defend my U.S. Championship against Ryback at WrestleMania. So these two have got a one-on-one matchup. I think they could have a solid WrestleMania bout, especially if you give them time to tell a proper story. David versus Goliath-esque with these two. I thought their matchup on that one episode of Smackdown for the Survivor Series tournament was so good. If we get a repeat of that.
Don't you love that an entire WrestleMania program has come about because of one SmackDown match?
I know, right?
In hindsight, that Survivor Series tournament did more for Kalisto than it did for Roman or Ambrose.
I completely agree. Funny how that works, dude. Really funny how that works.
Because not only did that lead up to now what we're getting with Kalisto and Ryback because of the match that they had, but it also led to him winning the U.S. title because of his program with Del Rio.
Exactly. Yeah, just
Isn't
crazy.
hindsight beautiful sometimes?
It is, man. It is, man. I'm telling you, I'm so happy for Kalisto because I think his best is yet to come. So we know that this is his first big WrestleMania. Just imagine, too, you were saying about, beating Del Rio U.S. title. If you want to put it in just the most recent context of WrestleMania, first WrestleMania goes in as a champion and gets a one-on-one matchup, which, well, maybe now Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn can also say due to very unfortunate circumstances with Neville. But, for Kalisto's first WrestleMania.
You know what, though? I feel like Ziggler, Miz, AJ, and Jericho are all going to get added to the Intercontinental title match. That's just a gut feeling I have, but I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, which just reaffirms, though, even more, Kalisto is the one that gets the one-on-one, all the spotlight on him as the champion.
Yeah, that's true.
US title. Yep. So that's crazy, but I'm happy for him. After that, we get an Ambrose video of him looking at the city skyline, his hometown, Cincinnati, Ohio. I enjoyed these segments that we got throughout the night from Ambrose, because this is the first one of, I think, two, and then he actually cut a promo in ring later, which we'll get to. But yeah, I enjoyed this, because it's pretty much talking about how Cincinnati taught him how to fight for his life. Fighting was kind of his education, Every time he'd get hit with a brick, or somebody would, mug him or jump him, he always came away learning something. So he said, Brock, he's been a champion everywhere, UFC champion, WWE champion, NCAA champion, does all this stuff. I mean, he is an athlete's athlete, just nobody better. But Ambrose says, in Cincinnati, every day of your life is WrestleMania. Stakes don't get any higher than when you're fighting in a place like this. And I just loved how he spoke about it, and he almost waxed poetic. And again, this just, to me, you see promos and material like this, you're seeing the rise of just a really amazing babyface. I enjoyed this from Ambrose, just relating his hometown roots to just how he's grown, and now the opposition he faces in spite of that growth in Brock Lesnar. I just think it was really well done.
I feel like this WrestleMania is going to be like a repeat of WrestleMania 29, because I feel like everyone and their mom knew that CM Punk should have been in the main event of that, but it was The Rock instead.
Yeah.
And now it's the same situation, but with Ambrose and Roman.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's really crazy, and then if they could just have done better in protecting Ambrose in matches, because with promos like these, I'd be salivating. You
already are. What do you mean?
But see, I am in a way, but it doesn't really take me that long, especially when you and I are talking, to be really critical, especially of the Ambrose aspect. I feel like if they just worked on that just a little bit, I would be all over this. It still is my most anticipated WrestleMania match, but look how many caveats we put on it, and you could really say that about a lot of this WrestleMania card. But yeah, I mean, this was great stuff from Ambrose. And I'm just really looking forward to the matchup. Hopefully it goes well. And really what he does beyond that has got me intrigued because he just keeps, going up and up. Like, the momentum to me really hasn't slowed. And yeah, I just really enjoyed these series of promos, and this is the first one. So is there anything you want to say?
I don't think so. I mean, like I said, I think it's just weird to me that we have this same situation 3 years later.
Yeah, man. Just crazy, man, that they get it wrong. Like, I don't know. Because you could say, well, it was Rock and, box office appeal and all that stuff, and I get that. And
well, okay, then let's go back a couple WrestleManias and say that it's the same scenario as 27.
Because 27, what was the main event then?
The Miz, John. The Miz.
Oh, The Miz. That's right, because Rock main evented with Cena at 29. That's right, yeah. No wonder. I probably repressed that WrestleMania 27 because that's the one where John Morrison teamed with Snooki. So it was just horrible all around. Yeah.
And then that whole thing came out about, like, he refused to acknowledge her after the match or something because of Melina.
Yeah. That was Trish. She went on and she would talk about
that's right, Trish.
Yeah. Not the best WrestleMania.
She's overrated anyway.
There you go.
Hashtag hot takes.
But I understand where you're coming from, man. I look at Roman Reigns again, and we said in the opening segment, it just seems very manufactured, whatever. Dean Ambrose is just really on the rise, and yet he's not in the main event spot. And you could really, again, say with Punk, he was so good. To me, the idea that he was never even... It could have even been a multi-man match, like a triple threat or whatever. He should have main evented at least one WrestleMania. And I could understand...
And I have to wonder if they would have had him do that, if he would even have left the company.
See... And to me, that's a question I don't think will ever be answered, because I can understand why people would say yes, but I could just as easily understand why people would say no, because I almost feel like Bryan only got that spot because, Punk left, and maybe they did it out of spite, like, oh, you left and you're bitching about never main eventing on WrestleMania. Well, look at the story we're going to tell about this guy main eventing WrestleMania, making you look bad and us looking great. After that... we get Bubba Ray versus Goldust. I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I thought this match was stupid. I don't even know why this match happened.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why this match happened, because Golden Truth is still a thing, which is immediately just the worst reason for a match to happen.
Exactly. The finish of this match, too, I was kind of surprised. Like, it was just felt a little abrupt to me, because Goldust is coming back in the ring at one point, and Bubba just, I guess, scores this kick. Goldust collapses, like, in the ring. Bubba goes for the cover, and that's it. He wins off the kick. So not a Bubba Bomb or Bubba Cutter or whatever. No, just a straight kick. That's nice. They continue the beatdown after the match. Then R-Truth runs out, but that's not enough. And then the Usos come out, though, and that evens the odds. So we continue the Golden...
Does it really even the odds when it's 4-on-2 now?
Well, yeah, it tips the scales in the babyface's favor is what I should have said.
Yeah, I'll say it does. Who are the babyfaces here?
Dude, I don't know anymore. I don't know. You just sound like you're so done with Golden Truth, the Usos, just everything in this little bubble right here.
This whole Samoan dynasty thing really needs to stop existing.
Well...
And I don't mean the people in it need to stop existing. I mean that them being... kind of all together and at the top of the card needs to stop being a thing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, brother, that is not going to happen for a while.
Can it just happen? Like now, please?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, this was just stupid to me. I really don't care really about any of the programs going on here. I think the Dudleys are being wasted. People may even argue Usos are being wasted. I really don't respond. I guess I could understand that to a degree. And Golden Truth's just a waste of my time, just in general. Yeah. So there you go. Up next,
that's a fair assessment.
Up next, we get the face-to-face. Charlotte comes out and she talks about the fact, she shares so much history with Sasha and Becky. And even though I'm your Divas champion, even I have to admit that I would not be where I am without these two ladies. So, Becky, Sasha, I hope you can accept my invitation. Becky comes out first, and Charlotte's surprised. She's like, oh, you know what? No BFF? And Becky's like, oh, no, I don't do best friends anymore ever since, the last one stabbed me in the back. And Charlotte said, well, you came. I can always count on you, Bex. And Becky's like, yeah, you can always count on me. You can count on me taking that championship at WrestleMania. Oh, so throwing that gauntlet down. And then Sasha comes out. You know, it doesn't take long for her to come out. She pretty much asserts herself. And can I just say, like, I love Becky. I don't have a problem with Becky. I'm happy she's in this match. But if we're really assessing these arguments fairly, Sasha had the strongest argument here. Because she did bring up the fact that she's never been beaten on Raw or SmackDown since she's come here. She's never been pinned. She's never submitted. Becky already got her opportunity, which Becky had a fine retort. You know, Rick, you know, Daddy Dearest over there is the reason Charlotte still has the championship because he got involved. I still haven't gotten my rematch from Royal Rumble. And, yeah, so they both made their fair points. But, yeah, I'm just looking at him like, Sasha's been undefeated for so long, and she's only now getting in the championship picture. Like, that's really crazy to think about. So, they're arguing back and forth. It erupts, though, when Becky goes for the low blow, says, you know, somebody who thinks they're a boss and wears dollar store jewelry thinks she's going to come in here and take a championship match she didn't even earn. Oh, so then it starts to come off, and if I was enjoying it, Charlotte certainly was, because she was yucking it up and really laughing, and they turn on her, though, because they decide, well, hey, why beat up each other? Charlotte's the one kind of pulling the strings, so they're starting to kick the crap out of Charlotte. She eats an exploder suplex from Becky. Sasha also gets some in there, but they're not able to get as much as they want because Charlotte does escape in the end. So I actually really enjoyed this, Ashton. I didn't know if it was going to be like more embarrassing memories, like what was teased on Raw, and then they flip the script on Charlotte and share embarrassing things from her. But I actually feel like I prefer this, and I'm sure you do too, because it gets away from that work shoot style. And I think it was just a very kind of passionate exchange. One woman's a champion, and she's proud to be the champion, and the two women are just really hungry for it. So I liked what was done here.
Yeah, I loved this segment. I think the thing with me is I get physically uncomfortable when Charlotte talks.
Right.
Like, literally when she goes on her little monologues where she does this really terrible thing where she pauses at all the wrong times, and she, like, the way that she speaks, just, it's really hard for me to describe, but it makes, like I said, it makes me physically uncomfortable to the point that, like, I curl up into the fetal position when she talks.
Wow. You must hate how she talks then, because, like, I agree, she's not really good, but that just seems like you almost have, like, a visceral reaction
I'm telling you,
to her
like,
speaking.
I think I have more of a negative reaction to her talking than even Eden Styles.
Wow. Folks, I don't think you realize what that man just said, because that's really saying a lot to me. But
I've always had this really weird, I don't know if I want to call it an obsession, or I don't think I would call it a fetish because there's nothing sexual about it, but like a weird fascination with language. And I think because of that, I'm a lot more sensitive to the stuff like that. Like I just have like much more dramatic responses to stuff like that. And like even Katrina right now in Lucha Underground, I used to get like weird, like little, like uncomfortable tics when she would say certain words in NXT. And I feel like she's fixed it between then and now, but like the way that she used to talk in NXT used to really bother me. And now, like, Charlotte is the worst. Natalya annoys me, and Eden is up there too. I think Eden is between Natalya and Charlotte.
So she's like the middle of the sandwich, so to speak, of just sheer crapitude in terms of talking.
Yeah, like if the pain level is on a scale of 1 to 10, Charlotte's like a 9 or a 10, Eden is a solid 8, and Natalya is like a 7.5.
Well, there you go. There you go. It almost makes me wonder if you would live if all three of those women were, like, talking at the same time. Like, if your ears just wouldn't, like, bleed out, and you would have so much blood loss that you'd collapse. I'm kind of curious, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know, man, but, like, I don't know, dude. Charlotte, it's weird because she's been doing it since NXT, but now that they're giving her longer talking segments, it's getting so much worse. And I don't even know if it's actually her getting worse or if it's just my experience getting worse because of how much longer she's doing it.
Yeah, I think Charlotte is another case much like Roman Reigns. She would benefit from being just more succinct in her promos.
Oh,
I feel
my
like
God. She would benefit more from just not talking at all. Like, what is the point of Ric freaking Flair following you around and being your manager if you're going to talk?
That is true. I mean, it is Ric Flair. Like, but I guess they just feel like you have to push Charlotte to the forefront because this is a women's program, and maybe it would feel a bit weird for a man to be speaking on behalf of a woman. Maybe that would rub some people the wrong way.
Okay.
I don't know if it's
I
me
mean,
grasping
that's
at straws.
understandable, but you're still putting all the focus on, like, when they come out, they even announce Rick first.
Yeah.
Like, when Charlotte
true.
and Ric Flair come out, it's, welcome, two-time Hall of Famer. You know, they start with Ric Flair. Like, it's like they're introducing Ric Flair, and, oh, by the way, there's his daughter, too.
Yeah, who just happens to be the champion at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, man. Becky, on the other hand, though, has surprised me with how she's developed her promo chops.
She's so good. She is so good.
Yeah, and the only reason
Becky is better than Sasha on promos right now.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you know what, though? I'm almost wondering if that's because Sasha really hasn't gotten an opportunity. Because I feel like the stuff she's done in NXT in terms of promos, really good stuff. I don't really know if she's gotten that same opportunity on the main roster.
With Sasha, it really is all just character work that makes her special.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
But like, I feel like Becky is more organically over right now because she's more just kind of being herself with the volume turned up.
Exactly.
Whereas Sasha is very clearly playing a character because, like, we've seen her like on Up, Down on interviews and stuff, and like she's not the boss at all.
Yeah, she's so adorable. Just, gonna put that out there. She's so sweet, just a really nice person. And yeah, then you get the boss and it's like, oh, well, I guess she found her claws there. But yeah, Becky, I would agree. I think, honestly, when you look at the three, I love Sasha to death, and I know you do too, and we're both pulling for her to win the Divas Championship at WrestleMania, but Becky has really surprised me with her growth and how she's asserted herself, in that top spot. So honestly, it's gotten to the point where even if Becky were to win, would I be disappointed it wasn't Sasha? Sure, to a degree, but I'd be happy that Becky won at the same time. Like, yeah. I just feel like Charlotte needs to lose that title at WrestleMania is where I'm at right now.
That's my thing too, is like, I'm still, I feel like that means she's a good heel, but I also feel like when she's on my TV, I want to change the channel. So I don't know if that's just me or if she's just a really good heel and I just have kind of that personal experience that I don't want to listen to her talk, or what?
Yeah, you sound a little mixed up, bud. What are your thoughts on thoughts? Maybe we should just start from there and progress.
Are you really going to curl up into the fetal position during a TWitWoW right now?
No, it's fine.
Because that's how you make me do that. Trying to get me to go existential on your ass.
Well, guys, I don't want to really emotionally scar Ashton here, so let's move on. We get the New Day. They come out.
Yeah, we do. They're amazing. I love that. Dude, Big E's pretend late 80s cartoon promo was the best cartoon promo in, like, the last decade. It was so good.
Dude, I just love how animated, charismatic, and energetic Big E is. Like, he just exhibits a larger-than-life kind of personality. Let me tell you something, Woods, which I did struggle to keep it together, and I think I actually failed to keep it together. But, like, yeah, that was great stuff. And that was all preceded by Xavier being like, oh, you think we'd be mad or whatever about what happened to us on Monday from the League of Nations, but we're not. And then Big E just goes into that whole, let me tell you, we're going to settle it. And Dallas just really like laying the challenge Hulk Hogan style to the League of Nations. And then Kofi starts to like run down the League of Nations, and it ultimately gets to the point where they say, you guys are like hot garbage. And it's I think it was 4 bags of garbage, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, they just go through each one. Rusev, muchka, and then and your booty, and they kick it out of the ring. And they're
starting to get, I don't know if you noticed, but they're starting to get a little bit of that, like New Age Outlaw, Enzo, and Cass factor with their plug for Bootio's cereal.
Yeah.
It makes sure you ain't booty. The crowd's starting to say that along with them.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like, I was a bit tentative, like, oh, they're going to try the New Day being baby faces again, but I really do have to agree with other people that I've, read their opinions about and whatever, that first of all, I think the League of Nations, if they're good for anything, they do seem like a good foil for a turn like this, and 2, by keeping the New Day as themselves, but just redirecting, where they're expending that energy towards the heel team, you don't compromise anything, therefore that keeps them likable. So yeah, they kick out every bag of garbage, except for Sheamus, because it's like, fella, and then they try and kick.
Fella, brogue! Fella, brogue!
Exactly. And then when the kick doesn't succeed, he's so booty he can't even go out. I think Xavier just
both of Xavier's kicks were on the weak side, just because he has those curly boots on and it makes it more difficult to kick stuff.
Exactly. And then they do, because they are your W, and they just gyrate.
WWE World Tag Team Champions. I love that, man.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, they were really bringing that heat. Because, and then New Day rocks and all that good stuff. So,
Day rocks. New Day rocks. Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, yeah, it's great stuff. Wade Barrett comes out. You know, not a bad match. Good stuff. In fact, one memorable spot I liked. It seemed like Barrett was going to go for Winds of Change. Kofi lands on his feet. He gets a DDT.
This
Kofi
match was my second, like, other than the main event, this is the second match that I was referring to that felt like, if not Raw quality, maybe even pay-per-view quality.
Yeah, I'll tell you, these two really do have good chemistry with each other, or at least
It felt like they really scouted each other out, because there were a lot of really good counters and reversals in this.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciated that too. You know, a lot of good stuff here. Yeah, I remember when they feuded, when Barrett was like, you know, he came back, you know, Barrett Barrage, Bullhammer, you know, going back to his roots of like bare knuckle fighting. They had a really good match there, and then ultimately Barrett would beat Kingston for the IC title. Yeah, these guys have good chemistry. No complaints here. I'm glad we got to see another one of these matchups, especially if Barrett is on the way out, which is just seeming more likely. They ultimately, League of Nations, Barrett does lose. Kingston gets the tights, but that's preceded by just a brawl breaking out, like all of this confusion and calamity. And it seemed like League of Nations got the upper hand for a moment, and that they were going to crowd around Kingston and put the boots to him. But then Xavier and Big E recover. They even the odds, and then Kingston nails a super kick, I think to Rusev it was the lone man on the apron, and then Barrett goes for something. He misses. He gets rolled up. Kingston has a handful of tights. He gets the win. And then New Day is just kind of celebrating on the ramp, just thinking, you're booty, you're all booty, and, you know, doing their thing. So, yeah, I enjoyed this. I really still don't care for the idea that they're all gonna get together for WrestleMania and have this big match, but as long as New Day keeps being entertaining, it makes the medicine easier to go down.
Yeah. I love these guys. They're so much fun. Their promo, seriously, they need their own show on the network. That's all it comes down to. They need their own show on the network.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, these guys really have never been better. I feel like Kofi, and really you could have said this even when they started as heels, just new life breathed into his career. Big E staying consistently in the spotlight where he belongs because he's so good. And I'm just glad to see Xavier doing something, because I remember when he debuted, and his first quote unquote rivalry was with Brodus Clay, because he came out with the Fungadactyls. So how far these guys have come, man. You know, it's just great stuff. All right, after that, Dean Ambrose is at a bar, I guess, in his area, celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Again, another good segment here. Pretty much talks about, in a bar like this, you learn a lot about yourself. You think about the fights that you won, the fights that you lost. And then he talks about the fight that he has with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and he says that he is bringing all of Cincinnati with him. So, Brock better bring his best. So I really like this from Ambrose. It was cool seeing him in a bar setting because it fits really well, I think, with the character and the persona. So great stuff there. Yeah, I've got really nothing else to say about this.
Yeah. I'm cool with just moving on.
Yeah, Social Outcasts then come out. They sit on the ring apron, which I actually thought was quite nice.
Yeah, I like that it's just a little bit different. Everyone always gets... They're either going to start their promo at the top of the ramp or they're going to start it in the middle of the ring. And this is just that little bit enough different that it got your attention. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's got a nice angle of the WrestleMania sign, feels casual, and they talk about how they're going to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And, Bo Dallas is like, we're going to be the first ones to do it as a team. Oh, God, Bo. And then Heath Slater's like, well, I'm the leader of the group, so I think I'm just going to win it, kind of screw the team sort of thing. And then Curtis Axel's like, whoa. The Axeman, I know a thing or two, all right, about Battle Royals. I was never eliminated from the 2015 Royal Rumble. I like how he's still going to use that, but it's 2015 because he did get eliminated in 2016. But he's still going to hang on to that. I like that. Yeah, that whole thing. And then Adam Rose is like, I am so sick of hearing about you and Battle Royals and the and, that little sound you make. And then they start to argue. Doesn't take long, though, for somebody to break up the argument, that person being Dean Ambrose. He comes out with a kendo stick, lays everybody out. I think my favorite part of the whole thing, though, Curtis Axel sacrifices Adam Rose. Just shoves him in front of Dean. He gets hit in the stomach with a kendo stick, and he gets laid out. Then Curtis tries to get the jump on Dean, but Dean gets the better of Curtis Axel, sends him out. And Dean's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, weren't you guys finished?" And, gets a nice pop from the crowd. And then he says, "I'm going to keep this real short and sweet. I hear Brock Lesnar's going to be on Smackdown next week. Well, so will I. So let's see, Brock, if you have the baseballs to step up to the plate." And, yeah. Just that's the promo. So he calls out Brock Lesnar again for next SmackDown. I like this again because it gives SmackDown that distinct feel. You're not going to see Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose have this altercation on Raw. That is for SmackDown. So I do like, even if it's just one thing a week, where they laid the groundwork for doing something to make SmackDown special. So I like this here.
Yeah. I like this. This was, I mean, the social outcasts are always going to be entertaining, right?
Right.
And they lived up to it tonight, so good on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's main event time. We get AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. This was a fun match, man. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed this. There was one sequence from Kevin Owens early on in the match that I really liked. It was a single knee gut buster and then the senton follow-up. I love that. AJ Styles came out with great offense of his own. There was one move he did that I kind of popped for. It was like an inverted Death Valley Driver, but then he swings and gets like the swinging power bomb with the pin. I thought that was really cool and impressive looking given the size of Owens. So, just great back and forth between these two. Oh, there was another great moment where Kevin Owens hits the super kick. AJ goes against the ropes. Kevin tries for the pop-up powerbomb. AJ, goes over, lands on his feet, and hits a Pele. So that was a great sequence. So, yeah, great back and forth between these two. And then there were two things I noticed, or really one thing in particular that I wanted to point out. AJ Styles, when he was getting ready to do the Phenomenal Forearm, he takes the elbow pad off first. So it almost felt like Rock-esque, like, okay, I'm going to take this off. I'm ready for the Phenomenal Forearm.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to keep doing that, John?
I hope he does. Because it really is like the little things, and I think that would be a cool thing. Like when people see that, it's like, okay, the Phenomenal Forearm is coming. And especially if it would lead up to like, maybe it gets a near fall, and then when the person starts to recover, maybe AJ thinks of like a Styles Clash. Maybe that would be a good sequence for something like that to be used. But so I like that he did that here. Jericho's music hits. AJ looks like he's getting ready to get on with Jericho. But then Kevin Owens, he gets AJ all like straddled up in the ropes. And with him disoriented, this is what Kevin Owens did that I liked. Grabs AJ by the arm, pulls him into the pop-up powerbomb. I like that setup. I don't think it has to be contrived all the time with him like throwing the guy into the ropes and then relying on that momentum. I think that's a good backup if you've already tried that, say, at one point in the match and you've really got that sense of urgency because you have the chance to win. Grabbing him by the arm, pulling him in and doing it, I like that. I hope Kevin Owens keeps doing that in the future. So that was the second little thing I picked up on.
Yeah.
And he gets the win. The father wins, damn it! Yeah! So good on Kevin Owens. Beats AJ Styles. Oh, and I love how he takes the same pad that AJ took off. He takes it into his mouth. He poses with the Intercontinental title and spits it out. Is Kevin Owens glorious or what?
Is that even a serious question? Come on.
I know. I can't stop praising this man, and I never will. I don't think
I'll ever ask you to.
That's fantastic. Then we're all in agreement.
It's a good thing, too, because even if I would, you would completely reject me.
It's totally true. You understand this situation so intimately, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's been so long since I used that word, but you just understood it so well, it deserved to be brought back. But yeah, then after that, Jericho then sees, and Jericho almost looked like he raided Mrs. Closet with what he was wearing. Yeah, that was kind of weird. But yeah, he comes in the ring, helps AJ up, only to send him back down with a code breaker, and then Jericho kind of just talks some trash to Styles. Just like, I'm the best in the world, all that stuff. And what I do, heel Jericho, healing it up. And that's how SmackDown ends. So, great stuff here from Y2J.
Yeah. Y2J is doing his best work since the Punk feud right now.
I completely agree, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's the last time I can honestly say that I really loved Chris Jericho.
And by the way, dude, I don't know if you saw this. Apparently, everything on Monday that Jericho said about AJ was stuff that was said about Jericho when he first showed up in WWE.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah, dude, like the line about how like he's not as good as we think he is, and he's overrated, and we got sold a false bill of all whatever, and all that stuff that he was saying about AJ was all stuff that was either said about him or just kind of like a backstage feeling about him when he first showed up. Like, and he's in over his head was another line that he used, and I guess that was the whole reason that they decided to stick Jericho with X-Pac back in the day, because they felt like he was in over his head working with who he was working with.
Right.
And they saw X-Pac as a ring general, and they wanted to make sure that, he could kind of carry Jericho to a match. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, like, that makes me, like, there's been a rumor going around that Jericho has been basically writing this feud. And that, I mean, if that's not proof, I don't know what is.
Wow, dude, that makes it take on a whole nother dimension.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, man. That's cool. That is freaking cool. So yeah, that's how SmackDown ends. Do you have anything you want to say about this match or the subsequent, post-match beatdown or whatever?
Well, the match was great. I really enjoyed the back and forth here. There was a moment. I'm trying to remember what it was. You know what? I'm not going to waste our time here. There was a moment in the match that I wanted to talk about, but I forgot about it, so obviously it wasn't important enough to actually bring up.
All right, then. With that said, let's move right on to our next segment, then. High spots and low shots. I'm going to say that my low shot is the Social Outcasts. They came out. They thought they were going to get some time, talk about their feelings, hash everything out about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Then Dean Ambrose comes out and he crashes the party. Kendo sticks for everybody, just takes them all to task. So, yeah, Social Outcasts had a pretty rough go of it, and they still haven't agreed on who's going to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so they're rife with conflict. So, yeah, just a tough time for these guys.
Man, they really need to get their shit together.
They really do. So, who's your low shot?
Oh, man. Who is my low shot, John? I think you should tell me.
Goldust maybe, Golden Truth as a whole, that whole segment.
No, you know what? This is probably the first time in a long time I'm gonna be able to say it. So my low shot is Roman Reigns, because he cut a horrible babyface promo and got booed out of the building.
Yeah, so.
And they tried desperately to cover it up.
But you couldn't. We saw everything.
Everything.
I'm quite conflicted about who to make my high spot, but you know what? Because it's me, there's only one answer. Kevin Owens.
Obviously. I mean, let's be real.
Exactly. I mean, the guy cut an amazing heel promo backstage, giving an amazing idea for a WWE Network show that Ashton took and then just made better. So, this
That's
may actually be
what I do. Like, I don't really have any super awesome original ideas, but if you give me a good idea, I'll make it great.
So, in this one instance, you might have been superior to Kevin Owens. You hold on to that.
No, because he came up with the idea in the first place.
So you just feel like you just springboarded over that, so really Kevin Owens still deserves all the credit.
Yeah, like Kevin Owens set up the diving board. I just used it to the best of its ability.
Well, then, thank you, Kevin Owens. You could have had that credit, man, but I'm going to be like, you know what, screw that. Thank you, Kevin Owens.
Hey,
but
man,
yeah.
I would rather be honest than be given credit.
Well, there you go. And I think Kevin Owens is the same way, which is why he is always honest. Always. Then...
sometimes to a fault, maybe.
Indeed. And then he beats AJ...
You didn't get more defensive when I said that.
Well, he does sometimes, Sami Zayn is proof that, I guess a little bit honest to a fault, but that's why we snuff people like that out, and Sami's going to get his eventually, so I'm just waiting patiently for that to happen.
There you go.
Then we have Kevin Owens win in the main event, beats AJ Styles, which, only Chris Jericho can say that as well, so that's AJ's, well, technically third loss, because they did lose that tag title match, but Jericho ate the pin in that, so this is really like the second time AJ's gotten pinned. And yeah, Kevin Owens making his mark there. So great stuff. Kevin Owens had a phenomenal night, and I freaking love the guy to death. So that's all that needs to be known there. Who is your high spot?
My high spot is Chris Jericho.
There you go.
This was, I mean, he didn't actually really do anything tonight, but this was a phenomenal promo, and I really want to give him the credit that I haven't given him yet for the work that he's been doing in this promo, in this feud, if he is writing it, which, I mean, it's really well written, but I'll also add it's really unnecessary.
Yeah. I mean, again, this will be their 4th match at Mania, so I still kind of struggle with that a bit, but it does give me a whole new respect for this program if Jericho is really behind it from a creative standpoint.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of this stuff. That is so cool, and I agree with you. I actually really love your choice of Jericho as a high spot. I think he deserves all the credit in the world, and he's working with somebody great in AJ Styles, who has just been terrific. I mean, dare I say, phenomenal. So, yeah, good stuff from both guys. But with that said, that only leaves one segment left. 30-second hot seat. Ash, what do you got for me this week?
Well, the problem here is that we're so close to WrestleMania. I really don't want to give you anything that'll give away any of our WrestleMania predictions.
Okay.
Because literally, like, WrestleMania is, like, not even 2 weeks away.
Right.
Like,
so.
Yeah, well, actually, technically, it's a little bit more than 2 weeks away now that I'm looking at an actual calendar.
So maybe we could devote this segment to talking about Lucha Underground Mystic Warfare next week. No. We gotta probably do something WWE related. So, yeah, what do you think you're gonna come up with?
You know, I feel like the height that your voice just reached kind of implies that you would rather talk about Lucha Underground.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. You're right, though. We need to talk about WWE. So let's do this real simple, real dirty. We already know a bunch of matches that are going to be a part of WrestleMania. If you could take any 2 people that are not currently set to be in WrestleMania programs, and sadly we can't include Bray Wyatt in this because he's hurt, what WrestleMania program would you fantasy book? You have 30 seconds, and your time, I know this is a tough one, right? Starts now.
Okay, so people not in WrestleMania, but you also can't use injured, so you've got that realism you're working with. Okay, well, Dolph Ziggler would be one, because he's currently not on the card.
Okay.
Dolph Ziggler. You know what? No, that's I wouldn't even want to watch that. But you know what? Yeah, maybe Dolph Ziggler and a heel Big Show or something. And he was always talking about how he'll never quit, and I could just see like Big Show really just beating the crap out of him, which is pretty much that's the worst version of Ryback and Kalisto. But just those 2 guys really have nothing to do. And maybe I would even have it, not necessarily a program, but just to make it more palatable, maybe just throw them in the armbar and have them be like the final 2 or something, because Big Show won last year, so it looks like he could do a 2-peat, and then Dolph pulls it off, and that's his WrestleMania moment. So that's what I think I would do.
Did you just say a 2-peat?
You're damn right I did.
Oh my. Oh my!
Oh my God, Cole, pick up a dictionary. So yeah, I mean, not the best, but I'm really struggling because honestly the injuries are so extensive. I want to cry.
Why would you laugh about it then?
Because it's like a painful laugh, like exasperated, like I don't know what's happening to my life. You have anything else you want to say?
Well, I mean, apparently not, because I feel like I've ruined TWitWoW now by just making everything all depressing and down.
Well, dude, WWE's depressing and down. It's like...
This is why we need Lucha Underground to be twice a week.
Yeah, I almost feel like this should be one of those Sarah McLachlan
we need a Lucha Underground every Tuesday and Friday, so that it's literally every week. Each episode of main roster television is preceded the following day by an episode of Lucha Underground.
Yeah, I mean,
the
I just feel like
ultimate wrestling mouthwash.
Exactly. I just feel like it's one of those just like homeless dog or cat commercials, like, oh, this many million people suffer Raw every Monday, and this many million people suffer SmackDown every Thursday, but you can help. Call now and tell everyone that Netflix needs Lucha and get Lucha Underground to people today.
And Sarah McLachlan's playing in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And then you like go to You and and I'm just like trying to just get the noose to work around my goddamn neck, and you're just like crying in your hands in the fetal position, and you're like, gentlemen, how long have you been watching WWE programming? Too long, Sarah. Too long. I don't want to live. It's okay. It's okay because there's this product known as Lucha Underground, and it's exceptional. huh? And then we just, like, watch it, and our lives begin anew.
The tears
It's
dry up, and the noose loosens.
Exactly. It's like, life. I choose life. Lucha forever. And then Sarah's like, yes, but we need a $5 donation. Oh, well, they're worth it.
Dude, for Lucha Underground, worth it.
Yeah, I'd be like, you know what? Let me just cover you for the next, like, 6 years. Here's $30. So there you go.
Well, you really failed math-wise there, but...
Well, I mean, if it was a yearly donation, if it was a monthly donation, you figure 12 months, 6 years, that's 72, and then you times it by 5, that's 0, about $360. So there you go.
Yeah, have fun saving that.
They're worth it, man. I will save up that money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're worth it. That's why we're doing monthly payments and not a lump sum, but let's move on. We're off course.
Well, hey, you know, given the show that we talked about, given the product that we're talking about, off course is looking pretty pleasant. But he's right.
Oh, yeah.
With that said, yeah, you know it's true. Yeah. So, with that said, guys, this has been Smackdown.
Boy, that got obnoxious quickly, didn't it?
Just a little.
I
This
am
has
so
been
sorry,
Smackdown.
people.
This has been TWitWoW.
Yeah!
The best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Ashton, what question? Well, actually, no, I don't have to ask that.
Yeah, you know what the question is. Move on.
Yeah, 30-second hot seat, people. What two people that aren't currently in a WrestleMania program, what would you do with them? So figure that out in the comments. Be sure to take the conversation over to Pleetoff. And that's Pro Wrestling is taking over Facebook, and it's an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook.
Yes,
I can tell you that a lot of people are down on WrestleMania, so if you belong to that group, let me tell you something, you'll be right at home. And you can also like, share, and comment on the content on the TWitWoW Facebook page. We are on Facebook now, but if Facebook isn't even really your medium, we've been on TWitWoW for quite some time. We have a TWitWoW subreddit. There you will find all of our TWitWoW content, and members of the TWitWoW subreddit community can create threads of their own on all things related to pro wrestling. Could be any promotion, any topic, whatever it is. If you want to talk to us about it, we will be there. But if you have questions, comments, jokes, memes, anything under the sun that you want to get to us on the ground level, you know, just most intimately, a direct line, if you will, Twitter is the place to be. We are both on Twitter now. I am at John_TWitWoW. Ashton's at apond404. That's the letter A, pond, the body of water, P-O-N-D 404. And we will see you again.
I was in college and I thought I was being cool. Don't judge me.
Yeah, you are wrong on all counts. You're being judged. And we will see you again for our Monday night Raw review, where I cannot stress enough about those donations, people. And more specifically, I cannot stress enough that at least we have Aztec Warfare this Wednesday. Now, those of you might be thinking, wow, John, you really didn't highlight anything for Raw. Yup. Until then, tune in and peace out.